Lane Moore's sitting alone in her car somewhere in New York City on a chilly December night. She's just moved here, dreams packed tight in her battered duffel bag, but the holiday lights blur past like a private movie scene she didn't audition for. No family, no plans, just Lane in this deafening silence when she's terrified of but oddly compelled to sit with. What if being alone isn't the enemy but the secret weapon? That question hangs in the air, buzzing like a neon sign. Lane's journey begins not by fleeing loneliness, but embracing it head-on, like stepping into a storm wearing nothing but a leather jacket. That first brutal winter alone in New York sets the tone for a radical idea: solitude can build strength. At 18, Lane finds herself homeless, sleeping in her rusty Honda Civic. No labels, no scripts, just raw survival. She's writing jokes in her head, distracting herself with dreams of comedy nights and big city gigs while the cold seeps through the cracks of her makeshift home. This isn't just hardship, it's the forge where Lane's resilience first sparks to life. Think of solitude like a medieval knight's armor. It might feel heavy and isolating at first, but once you wear it right, it protects you from the arrows of loneliness and social anxiety. Rather than feeling trapped inside yourself, solitude creates a buffer, a safe zone where you can understand and even rebuild your inner world before engaging with the chaos outside. By the time Lane lands on the NYC comedy scene, she's flipped her loneliness script. Rather than a victim of feeling alone, she brands herself as the last hopeless romantic, owning her quirks and anxieties as badges of her unique story. This transformation isn't about avoiding connection but grounding herself so deeply, she stops fearing the silence and starts loving her own company. Here's a surprising twist: Lane's best connections often aren't with the people she's known the longest. Instead, she finds stranger luck, those unexpected, electric moments with new faces that challenge all her ideas about relationship and loneliness. Lane's acclaimed show, Tinder Live, isn't just comedy, it's raw social anthropology filmed in real time. Watching hundreds of strangers swipe right or left right before her eyes, Lane unearths a strange truth. These flashes of interaction, superficial as they seem, reveal more about our desperate need for connection than old friendships sometimes do. Imagine your social life like a rainforest. The strangers are the seed pods floating on the wind, ready to land and grow into unexpected friendships. Familiar faces might be the well-trodden roots, sometimes tangled and unable to breathe new life. Lane teaches us that fresh encounters spark adrenaline and new understanding in ways that history-soaked relationships can't always deliver. When Lane talks about stranger luck, she isn't kidding. It's the unexpected kindness from a cab driver, the random chat with a barista, or a fleeting eye contact in a coffee shop that fills the loneliness gap. Reframing solitude means seeing possibility and connection everywhere, even in moments that seem utterly random. Holidays magnify loneliness. For Lane, they were a battleground of anxiety and aching absence. But through humor and brutal honesty, she pioneered a new way to face, not fight, those hard, quiet moments. Lane remembers Christmas Eve, New York, 2012. Every restaurant packed, laughter bouncing off the walls, and her sitting solo in a tiny apartment with canned soup and a book. That crushing gap between the world's joy and her silence was almost unbearable. But instead of pretending or fleeing, she said, "I'll make peace with this weird place I'm in, no matter how ugly it feels." Humor became her Swiss Army knife. Like a club to fend off the biting wolves of anxiety, Lane's jokes, sometimes absurd, sometimes painfully raw, break the tension. It's not about ignoring pain but smiling through it, turning vulnerability into a crowd pleaser that invites others in rather than pushing them away. Radical acceptance flips the script. It's not surrender but a bold acknowledgement of reality. Lane shows us that claiming your solitude and anxiety publicly is a rebellious act that undercuts shame and rewires how you relate to yourself. Embracing your aloneness means turning isolation into a throne instead of a cell. Back in that lonely car, Lane could have folded under the weight of silence. Instead, she turned it into a stage for her own life's comedy and courage. So next time you're alone, really alone, try this. Treat yourself like you're your own best friend. Pour a drink, tell yourself a joke, and sit with the silence. It might just be the start of something wild and wonderful. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.